There's something powerful about a person who knows how to stay silent in the season where nothing looks like it's working yet. A person who doesn't have to announce every move, explain every step, or defend every decision. It takes strength to move in quiet confidence when in the natural, it would be easier to try to convince people, to prove to them that you're going somewhere, that you're not wasting your time, that you really do have something valuable inside you. But here's the truth. When what's inside you is real, when what you're building is from God, you don't have to shout about it. You don't have to broadcast every seed that's underground. If you'll stay faithful, if you'll stay focused, the day is coming when the fruit will speak louder than your words ever could. There's something undeniable about the kind of success that speaks louder than explanations, louder than justifications, louder than the opinions that tried to write you off before you ever got started. When you live with quiet confidence and steady faith, when you choose to pour your energy into growth rather than arguments, preparation rather than proving, the day comes when the fruit of your life speaks volumes in a way that no words ever could. It's easy to get caught up trying to convince people that you're capable, that you're qualified, that you've been called. But there's a higher way to move through life. It's the way of silent strength, the kind that doesn't feel the need to announce every seed that's being planted, because it knows the harvest is on the way. When your results speak for you, even those who dismissed you, doubted you, and overlooked you have no choice but to recognize that something greater was happening all along. It's easy to think that if people could just see what you see, understand what you understand, if they could only grasp the potential you carry, they would support you more, celebrate you more, open doors for you faster. But that's not how destiny works. Sometimes the best things God is doing in you are deliberately hidden from others, not because He wants to frustrate you, but because He's protecting what He's developing. When you understand that, you don't waste time trying to explain yourself to people who aren't assigned to your journey. You don't get distracted trying to validate what only God can confirm in due season. You just stay faithful. You just stay consistent. You keep watering the seed. You keep showing up with excellence even when no one is applauding. Because at the right time, what you've been working on in private will show up so strong in public that it will answer every critic without you saying a word. The people who make the greatest impact are not the ones who spend their energy trying to be seen. They're the ones who quietly refine their craft, who quietly build their character, who quietly strengthen their foundation so that when the spotlight does come, they're ready to carry the weight of it. If you rush the process trying to be visible too soon, you end up standing on a weak foundation that can't sustain what you're asking for. That's why sometimes it feels like you're being hidden. That's why it can seem like doors are shut or opportunities are delayed. It's not punishment, it's preparation. It's God building you in such a way that when the door opens, when the platform comes, when the promotion happens, you don't just arrive, you last. You don't just show up, you thrive. Think about the way a house is built. The most important part of that entire structure is the foundation. It's the part nobody sees. It's the part that gets no attention once the walls go up and the roof is placed. But if that foundation isn't strong, if it wasn't built deep and wide and reinforced properly, everything that stands on top of it is unstable. The builder doesn't waste time advertising the foundation while it's being dug. They don't put up signs bragging about how deep the trenches are. They just dig, they just build, because they know the time is coming when what's above ground will be admired. But what's below ground is what will sustain it. Your character is your foundation. Your consistency is your foundation. Your integrity, your discipline, your faithfulness when no one is looking. That's what allows your results to speak with a volume that silences everything else. There are seasons in life when it feels like nobody notices your effort. You're doing the right things, making the sacrifices, sowing the seeds, showing up day after day, but the recognition isn't there yet. Don't misinterpret that season. That's not the season to make noise. That's the season to keep your head down and let your work speak later, because hidden seasons always build public victories. The quiet grind creates the loud glory. The unseen preparation produces the undeniable promotion. If you try to short-circuit that process by making announcements before the foundation is ready, you only delay what was already on the way. But when you trust the process, when you embrace the hiddenness and understand that you're not forgotten, you're being fortified, you give God room to prepare a stage that you're ready to stand on. It's human nature to want people to understand us, to see the value in us, to recognize the effort we're putting in. But sometimes God intentionally blinds certain people to your potential, not because you're not valuable, but because He doesn't want them to have a hand in your story. He's keeping some people in the dark so that when the success shows up, no one can take credit but Him. That's why certain people overlooked you. That's why certain opportunities passed you by. That's why certain doors seemed closed, even when you knew you had something to offer. It wasn't rejection, it was redirection. It wasn't denial, it was divine protection. And if you'll trust that and keep building in silence, the results will show up in such a way that even those who counted you out won't be able to deny what's on your life. The oak tree doesn't apologize for taking years to grow. It doesn't rush to catch up with the flowers that bloom quickly but fade fast. It knows that the deeper the roots, the stronger the trunk, the longer it will stand when storms come. That's how your life works. The deeper you let your roots go, roots of faith, roots of discipline, roots of humility, the higher you'll rise. And when that growth shows up, when the fruit becomes visible, it will speak so clearly that you won't have to say a word. The evidence will be undeniable. The fruit will silence the doubt. The success will answer the questions. Sometimes people will underestimate you simply because they don't see what's happening beneath the surface. That's okay. Let them underestimate. Let them misjudge. Let them assume you're not moving fast enough. You're not living to meet their timeline. You're not building according to their expectations. You're developing at the pace of purpose. And when purpose is fully formed, when destiny is ready to reveal itself, there won't be a debate about it. The impact will be clear. The results will do the talking. There's a kind of confidence that doesn't need to shout to be heard. It doesn't need to announce to be acknowledged. It doesn't need to explain to be established. That's the confidence that comes from knowing what you've sown, knowing the work you've done in private, knowing that even if people didn't clap for you, heaven was watching the whole time. Every time you stayed late refining your gift, every time you woke up early to chase your assignment, every time you chose discipline over distraction, it was noted. And what's done in secret, what's cultivated in silence, God has a way of rewarding openly. It's easy to get impatient in the middle seasons. The seasons where you're not where you used to be, but you're not yet where you want to be. That's where many people miss it. They get discouraged. They start announcing things prematurely. They try to force doors open that aren't ready yet. But if you can stay steady in that middle space, if you can trust the hidden season and keep building even when it's quiet, you'll step into a victory that doesn't just elevate you temporarily. It establishes you permanently. And the people who didn't see you coming, the people who thought they had the final word on your future, won't be able to ignore the hand of God on your life. The greatest stories are the ones where people didn't have to manipulate their way to the top. They didn't have to scheme, strategize, and self-promote relentlessly to get there. They let their gift make room for them. They let their results speak for them. They trusted that what they were building in the dark would be strong enough to stand in the light. And when that light came, they weren't surprised. They weren't scrambling to catch up. They were ready because they had been preparing the whole time. Don't despise your hidden season. Don't get frustrated when people don't see what you're building. Every day you show up in excellence is a seed. Every moment you choose integrity over shortcuts is a seed. Every time you do the right thing when no one is looking is a seed. And those seeds are growing. The roots are getting deeper. The foundation is getting stronger. And in the right season, the harvest will come in such a way that it won't just bless you. It will bless everyone around you. People won't just see your success. They'll see your character. They'll see your consistency. They'll see the fruit of what you cultivated in private. And the impact will go far beyond what words could ever explain. You don't have to defend what God is building in you. You don't have to argue with people who don't see your worth. Just keep working, keep growing, keep sowing. Because when the fruit shows up, it will speak for itself. And when the victory is revealed, no explanation will be necessary. Your results will do the talking. Your hidden season will have built a victory so undeniable that silence won't be a weakness. It will be a statement. The harvest will declare what words never could. There is something powerful about the seasons where no one knows what God is doing in you. Something sacred about the places where you are growing, but not yet showing. It can feel like obscurity, but in heaven's eyes, it is divine strategy. When God grows you in private, it is never to diminish you, it is always to develop you. It is in the hidden places where roots grow deep. It is in the quiet places where character is fortified. The spotlight is attractive, but the secret place is where strength is built. People may not see the hours you spend refining your gift, deepening your faith, sharpening your discernment, but those are the hours that will carry you when your season shifts. Growth that happens in private prepares you for power that is displayed in public. God knows that promotion without preparation will crush you, so He takes the time to cultivate what can't be rushed. He allows the roots to run deep before the fruit ever appears on the branches. There is a temptation in all of us to want to be seen too soon, to want to prove to the world that we are ready, capable, and anointed before the appointed time. But God's way is different. He knows that if He reveals you prematurely, you might step onto platforms that your character can't carry. So instead of announcing you early, He refines you in private. He matures you behind the scenes. He teaches you lessons in solitude that you'll need when you're standing in front of crowds. The private place is where He builds your endurance. It's where He strengthens your patience. It's where He develops a faith that doesn't crumble under pressure. What looks like delay is often His greatest form of protection. He is not holding you back to frustrate you. He is anchoring you so that when the winds of influence come, you won't be easily shaken. We live in a world that applauds visibility, a world that says, if people don't see it, it doesn't matter. But heaven has a different value system. God doesn't need an audience to validate the work He's doing in you. He is more concerned with who you are becoming than how many people are watching you become it. When you understand that, you stop craving validation and start embracing preparation. You stop measuring progress by how many people are clapping, and you start measuring it by how much you are growing. Private victories are what sustain public platforms. Quiet obedience is what qualifies you for loud influence. The secret place is never wasted time. It is investment time. There is a discipline in not having to prove yourself. A confidence that comes when you realize that you don't need to announce what God is doing. You don't have to convince people of your calling. You don't have to fight to make people believe in you. The less you prove, the more God promotes. Because when you stop trying to make things happen in your own strength, you give space for God to move in His strength. When you stop striving to make people recognize your worth, you allow God to reveal it in His timing and His way. And when He does it, no one will be able to deny that it was His hand on your life. The doors He opens can't be shut. The opportunities He orchestrates can't be blocked. The platforms He provides can't be taken away by human opinion. It is easy to want to prove to people that you belong, that you are qualified, that you deserve to be in the room. But you don't have to spend your life chasing people's approval when God's affirmation is already on your life. You don't have to waste energy trying to get people to understand what God has spoken to you in private. They weren't in the room when God called you. They didn't hear what He whispered into your spirit. So don't expect them to always understand your process. Your responsibility is not to convince people. Your responsibility is to stay obedient. Keep growing, keep preparing, keep developing what He placed in your hands. Because when the time is right, He will reveal you in a way that no one can ignore. And you won't have to say a word. Your fruit will speak for you. Your results will speak for you. The power on your life will speak for you. Some of the most significant seasons of your life will be the ones where it feels like nothing is happening. But don't be deceived by what you see. Just because it looks like you're being overlooked doesn't mean you're being forgotten. Just because it feels like you're in the shadows doesn't mean God isn't working. Seeds always grow underground before they break through the surface. Trees always establish their roots before they stretch toward the sky. God is doing something deep in you that is necessary for where He's taking you. If you rush it, you'll miss it. If you try to skip the process, you'll short-circuit the promise. But if you'll stay faithful, if you'll embrace the hiddenness, you'll come out stronger, wiser, and more prepared than you ever thought possible. You don't have to post every move you make to prove you're making progress. You don't have to tell everyone every vision God gave you to validate your calling. Some things are sacred enough to be kept in the secret place until the appointed time. Some dreams are weighty enough that they need time to mature before they're announced to the world. And when you have the patience to carry those things in silence, God will honor that. He'll breathe on it in such a way that when the time comes to reveal it, it will flourish effortlessly. You won't have to strive to make people notice. They'll see the fruit and recognize God's hand. There's freedom in not needing to prove yourself. Freedom in knowing that your value doesn't come from people's applause, but from God's approval. Freedom in understanding that the private place is not a prison. It's a proving ground. It's where endurance is built. It's where your motives are purified. It's where your vision is sharpened. And when God says it's time, you'll step into opportunities that your character can sustain. You'll carry influence that your integrity can handle. You'll walk in power that's not based on performance, but on the quiet confidence built in hidden seasons. You don't have to fear being unseen. Being unseen is often where you're being most deeply formed. The caterpillar doesn't announce when it goes into the cocoon. It disappears for a season, and when it reemerges, it doesn't have to explain what happened. The transformation speaks for itself. That's what God is doing in you. He's cocooning you in preparation so that when you step out, the evidence of His work will be undeniable. The beauty of His process will be unmistakable, and you won't have to prove a thing. The fruit will declare it. Sometimes the greatest promotion is the one you didn't have to fight for. The one where God opens a door so wide that even your enemies have to acknowledge it. The one where you walk through effortlessly because you let Him orchestrate it instead of forcing it on your own. That kind of promotion comes when you trust the private growth season, when you let God do His work in the dark so He can reveal it in the light. And when He does, you won't have to justify your place. You won't have to explain how you got there. The favor on your life will be evident. The less you try to prove, the more God can move. Because proving always comes from a place of insecurity. But when you know who you are and whose you are, you can rest in the process. You can let go of the need to defend yourself. You can release the urge to explain yourself. And you can trust that God is working behind the scenes in ways you can't see. He's aligning opportunities, positioning people, orchestrating circumstances, all while you're faithfully growing in private. And when it all comes together, it won't just elevate you. It will testify of His faithfulness. You don't have to be loud to be effective. You don't have to be visible to be valuable. God sees you. He knows the work you're putting in. He honors the sacrifices you're making. And He is faithful to reward those who diligently seek Him, even when no one else is watching. So keep growing in private. Keep refining your character. Keep sharpening your skills. Keep nurturing your faith. Because in the right season, God will reveal you in power. And when He does, the promotion will be undeniable. The impact will be unshakable. And the testimony will be unexplainable because it won't be something you manufactured. It will be something He orchestrated. There's something special about people who don't have to announce what they're carrying. They just walk in it. They don't boast about their gifts. They just operate in them. They don't advertise their anointing. They just let the fruit show it. That's who God is shaping you to be. Someone who doesn't need to prove a thing because the evidence speaks for itself. Someone who can walk into a room quietly and shift the atmosphere because of the power cultivated in private. Someone who can step into opportunities and handle them with grace because of the preparation done in secret. There is something about the battles that nobody sees that shape you the most. The struggles that are fought behind closed doors, the tears that fall when no one else is around, the questions you whisper in the quiet that never make it to public conversations. These are the moments that don't show up on highlight reels. They don't make headlines, they don't gather applause, but heaven records them. God sees every single one of them, and what you do in private sets the stage for what He's about to do in public. Private battles have a way of refining you in ways comfort never could. They stretch you, press you, and mold you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable of carrying what God has prepared for your life. You may think nobody notices the nights you wrestle in prayer, the hours you labor over dreams that have yet to manifest, the discipline it takes to keep a pure heart when you could easily retaliate. But every one of those unseen battles is producing something weighty in you. They're not in vain. They're not wasted. God uses the private pressure to produce a public breakthrough. It's easy to celebrate victories that are visible. When the promotion comes, when the opportunity opens up, when the miracle manifests, people gather to applaud. But what they don't see are the hours of private discipline that laid the foundation for that moment. They don't see the times you chose integrity when compromise would have been easier. They don't see the times you forgave quietly when bitterness tried to take root. They don't see the moments you sowed in faith, even when your own heart was wary. That's where real growth happens. That's where character is formed. It's not in the spotlight that you are shaped. It's in the shadows. It's in those silent, unseen moments where God chisels away what doesn't belong so you can carry what's coming. And when you emerge on the other side, what He's built in you will be undeniable. You don't have to broadcast your battles for them to matter. You don't have to post about every hardship or tell every person about your process. Sometimes the greatest strength is found in the silence. When you can stand tall, smile with grace, and keep walking forward even while a storm is raging in your soul. That's maturity. That's the kind of faith that God honors. He sees what you're doing when no one else claps. He notices the sacrifices you make that nobody thanks you for. He watches when you show up with excellence, even though no one acknowledges your consistency. And He is faithful to reward it. You may feel unseen by people, but you are never unseen by God. He is the one who elevates in due season. He is the one who promotes at the appointed time. He is the one who turns private battles into public testimonies. It can be discouraging when you give your best and it feels like no one notices. When you're faithful in your responsibilities, but recognition doesn't come. When you're generous in secret and no one affirms your sacrifice. But remember, you're not working for people's applause. You're working for a higher purpose. The applause of heaven weighs more than the claps of men. What you do when no one is watching is what heaven watches the closest. God honors integrity that's maintained in secret. He blesses excellence that is stewarded even when there's no immediate reward. And He multiplies the seeds sown in private, bringing a harvest in public that far outweighs the sacrifice. Private battles deepen your dependence on God. They push you closer to His presence. They strip away self, reliance, and force you to lean on grace in ways you wouldn't if everything was comfortable. The hidden struggles stretch your faith muscles. They teach you to pray when answers don't come quickly. They train you to worship when the breakthrough hasn't shown up yet. And in the process, they prepare you for the weight of what's coming next. Public breakthroughs are only sustainable when private foundations are secure. You don't want a platform your character can't sustain. You don't want influence your integrity can't uphold. That's why God allows you to wrestle privately before revealing you publicly. So when the moment comes, you're ready. You're anchored. You're unshakable. There's beauty in knowing that you don't have to advertise everything you endure. You can trust that God sees it, and that's enough. You don't need to justify your journey to anyone. You don't need to explain every closed door, every delayed promise, every difficult season. You can quietly walk with confidence knowing that when the time is right, God will reveal what He's been building in you all along. And when He does, the fruit will be so undeniable that people will wonder how you carried it with such grace. What they don't realize is that the grace was forged in private places. It was formed in silent battles. It was strengthened in unseen seasons. And now the public breakthrough is simply the evidence of private victories. You may be in a season right now where it feels like no one appreciates what you're doing. You're pouring into others, but no one is pouring into you. You're showing up faithfully, but it feels like your efforts are overlooked. You're praying diligently, but the answers seem delayed. Don't lose heart. Don't get weary in well-doing, because in due season, you will reap if you faint not. God is not unjust to forget the work and labor of love you've shown. He's storing every act of faithfulness like a seed planted in rich soil. And at the appointed time, He will water it. He will breathe on it. He will multiply it. And when the breakthrough comes, it won't just bless you. It will bless everyone connected to you. There is power in quiet consistency. Power in showing up day after day, even when applause doesn't follow. Power in stewarding the small things with excellence, trusting that God sees it all. The private place is where champions are formed. It's where God does His deepest work. And if you'll stay faithful in that place, if you'll keep showing up even when it's hard, God will honor it. He'll lift you up. He'll open doors you couldn't open on your own. He'll place you in rooms you didn't have to force your way into. And when that happens, you'll realize that every private battle was worth it. You don't have to compete for attention when you're confident that God is watching. You don't have to clamor for recognition when you know heaven applauds your obedience. You don't have to strive to make your sacrifices visible to people. God sees the long hours. He sees the unseen tears. He sees the private surrender, and He promises that those who seek Him in secret will be rewarded openly. You don't have to manufacture the reward. You just have to stay faithful. Keep fighting the private battles with grace. Keep sowing in silence. Keep building even when no one notices, because God honors what's done when no one is clapping, and His honor carries more weight than any human praise ever could. Private battles build resilience that public victories will require. They fortify your spirit. They solidify your trust. They teach you how to depend on God when everything else falls away. And in doing so, they prepare you to handle success with humility and strength. When you know what it's like to be sustained by God alone, you won't be swayed by the opinions of people. You won't be shaken by the pressures of influence. You'll be rooted, steady, and unmovable. That's the kind of person God can trust with greater assignments. That's the kind of vessel He can fill and pour out to others. So don't despise the private place. Don't resent the hidden seasons. Don't grow bitter when applause is absent. Embrace it. Let it shape you. Let it refine you. Because the same God who watches in secret will reward you openly. And when that reward comes, it will be undeniable that it was His hand on your life all along. You won't have to explain how it happened. You won't have to convince anyone of your qualifications. The fruit will speak for itself. The favor will announce itself. The breakthrough will testify of God's faithfulness. Every private battle is building something eternal in you. It's stretching your capacity to carry more. It's deepening your roots so your branches can spread wider. It's strengthening your spirit so you can stand tall under the weight of public influence. And when the season shifts and God promotes you, you'll walk into that new place with grace, with strength, and with a quiet confidence that comes from knowing exactly where you were forged. You'll know the cost of the breakthrough. You'll appreciate the weight of the assignment. And you'll carry it well because you let God prepare you in the private place first. The same God who honors what's done in secret is the God who brings breakthroughs in public. He doesn't forget. He doesn't overlook. He doesn't ignore the faithfulness you've shown when no one else saw it. He's been watching the whole time, and He's been preparing something for you that is greater than you can imagine. If you'll just keep walking, keep trusting, keep fighting those private battles with grace and integrity, He'll reveal it in His perfect timing. And when He does, it will be clear that the process wasn't punishment, it was preparation. So don't despise your quiet seasons. Don't be discouraged when it feels like nobody is noticing, nobody is clapping, nobody is validating what you're doing. Your job isn't to make noise. Your job is to stay faithful. Stay focused, stay consistent, because your time is coming. And when it does, you won't have to say a word. Your success will make all the noise for you.